20 hard commits, according to 247 Sports, third-ranked class in the Big Ten, number 12 in the country. We're only 6 days away from National Signing Day. What's the overarching narrative of what's going on there?
Well, they've gotten a couple of recruits since winning the Big Ten championship and in the past week or two. So it is true that winning really spikes everything, and it's what I before we get into who they've gotten committed to them, it just sparks the question: if Michigan were to win at any time over the past 7 years, what would Jim Harbaugh's recruiting look like? I mean, it very well could have been a number one class essentially year in and year out. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, not only for National Signing Day in a few days, but for the future. If Michigan continues to be a championship program, I really do think their recruiting could be, go back to top tier. Absolutely. But a couple people that they got. So Ethan Burke was a 3-star edge commit. Connor Jones was a 3-star tackle. They also got a, let's see, I was just looking at it. For the 2023 class, they got a couple guys. So Samaj Morgan, a 3-star wide receiver out of West Bloomfield, Michigan, which is Ron Bellamy, the safety coach's alma mater, where he came from. Joel Starlings is a 4-star D-line commit out of Benedictine in Richmond, Virginia. And then Raylan Wilson from Lincoln in Tallahassee, Florida, was a 4-star linebacker. Joel Starlings, by the way, D lineman, was choosing between Georgia and Michigan right before Michigan plays Georgia, and he did choose the Wolverines. So a little interesting narrative there that they've got going on.
I also see Zeke Barry, a safety out of De La Salle High School in Concord, California. According to 247, he committed on December 3rd, 14th rated safety in the country. So he's a nice pickup as well.
Yeah, that was a big pickup for Michigan because Damani Jackson decided that he was going to drop Michigan out of his top 2 and just have, decide between USC and Alabama. So for them to be able to pick up Zeke Barry, I have a feeling that he was waiting on Damani's decision and then chose Michigan after that. But yeah, it's the last one I wanted to touch on. I was bringing them up here. This offensive line commit is very interesting, and I want to hear the story from Jim Harbaugh at some point. So he is Andrew Gentry, former 4-star offensive lineman who signed with a part of Virginia's 2020 class. He's returning this spring from his church mission that he's been on for the past year. So Big Boy was a very good, recruit, 4-star. But I just want to know how Jim Harbaugh got in contact with this guy and said, hey, I need you to end your church mission and come to Ann Arbor and play football with us, because I'm sure it's got to be some weird, perfect Jim Harbaugh story. But it's really interesting that he, after all this, is gonna come to Ann Arbor after his journey for the past couple years.
Yeah, look at that, 8th rated offensive tackle, and it's not. Shouldn't be surprising that, BYU was in the running for him as well as the number 1 rated player out of Colorado. Okay, in the 2020 class.